This is TV 10 and 55 Focus, a program dealing with issues affecting everyone on Long Island and the tri-state area. Now your host, Richard Rose.
Hi, I'm Richard Rose. Welcome to Focus. It's our pleasure to have as our guest today Anna Throne-Holst, re-elected to Southampton Town Supervisor for a second term this past November, and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So you won with a fairly large amount, 64% of the vote.
Yes.
And this now your second term. What do you think was the reason people returned you to office with such a large plurality?
I hope and think that it is because I stand for fair and representative government. I'm not there for a political platform. I don't come as a politician. I had never aspired to a political office. It wasn't something I had, grown up wanting to do. I had a history of community service and not-for-profit management, and brought that interest in community issues and representing the community to the job. I ran on a platform of fiscal management, and the town had gone through some difficult times in some very serious fiscal mismanagement and deficits that ensued as a result. And I ran on a promise of setting that house straight, and I think we've turned that corner now and are on sound footing.
As a candidate for the Independence Party?
As a candidate for the Independence Party, yes, I am.
What is the difference between being in the Independence Party and one of the mainstream parties, would you say? What difference has it allowed you as an elected official?
Well, I'll start by saying that I think on the town level, I'm not sure that the big party platforms have the same meaning as they do on the national level. But the Independence Party stands for just that, independence, and where the leadership doesn't get itself involved in our representation as the candidates or elected officials, but count on us to be there for good government. And we, in turn, don't expect to be directed in any way. And
by state or national parties. And especially in a town like Southampton, which is known probably around the world as a place where independent-minded people love to go.
I think that it actually shows itself in the electorate. We have almost as large a percentage as unaffiliated independent voters as we do either Democrat or Republican. So the third party showing is actually very significant out there. Which
is why I bring that up, because a lot of people are wondering, is there going to be a change in the way the mainstream parties work? And are candidates like yourself going to be the future, where people move to more of an independent type structure, at least as far as any political party is concerned? What do you think about that?
Well, I certainly hope that that's the direction it's going to go, but I'd reframe it a little bit and say that I would hope that the candidates for office are ones that actually concentrate on the issues. I think that's what's lacking today, particularly in the mainstream politics. And I think that the public has been allowed to veer away from the real issues. I actually read an op-ed this morning about the importance of putting politicians and political representatives in place that had an intellectual life and that had an intellectual approach to the job. And wouldn't it be interesting to, rather than have the debates the way we know them today, have candidates have to conduct an hour-long panel with intellectuals from the financial world, economics, from the environmental and sustainable world, from the transportation world.
We would all learn something?
We would all learn something, but more than anything, we would learn what our candidates actually knew about any of those issues and the policy possibilities around them, and where they would have to show the critical thinking that I think we would hope our representatives would have.
There seems to be a disconnect, and maybe it's in the modern, age of broadcasting and television in particular, where image seems to trump substance, and it gets into all these sideshows, and it even gets treated like a sideshow by the commentators, talking about who's first, who's second, almost ignoring candidates by picking the top two half the time in some of these mainstream races. And just as a journalist myself of 30 years, I wonder, are we not serving the public properly by the way we even describe or define the the context of these sorts of debates. So when I see a candidate like yourself get elected with a large vote with a party that hasn't traditionally been one that has been able to attract that kind of plurality, I wonder if there's change coming in our politics.
Well, I think we're certainly looking for that, and not to say that there aren't a lot of very strong and respectable candidates and representatives out there, because there are. We have a number of great public servants that serve our country, and but I do think that in the last several years we have lost sight of really what it is we elect people to do as, in representing us on all levels of government.
So what do you stand for in the town of Southampton as the supervisor now re-elected?
Well, I'd like to think that I stand for a grounded approach to dealing with the financial matters, and in this economy that's, I think, more relevant than ever. We're dealing with a downturn in every realm, and everyone knows that. We're having to make difficult decisions about the size of government, the role of government, how we provide our services through government, and I think that that bringing an approach that is a completely new look at it, and not making the assumption that because we've done it this way for 20 years, 30 years, that's the way we do it, but bringing everyone together, and that's the way I've approached it with department heads and other staff. How can we pretend we're starting all over again? And if we had the ability to do that, how would we do it? And how would we provide services differently, better, more cost efficiently? Is there a way to combine and look at things differently? Is there a way to look at things on a broader and more regional approach than we've been doing?
That matters in the town of Southampton too, right? It's
Absolutely.
regarded as an affluent, well-to-do, upper crust type town in this country, yet that matters there too, doesn't it?
Well, let's talk about that for a minute, because I think that is one of the big misperceptions about the Hamptons.
Explain that, yes.
Well, the town of Southampton is about 145 square miles large. It has a year-round population somewhere in the 55 to 60,000 person range. The assumption is that yes, that everyone lives in big houses and frolics on the beach. And the reality is they don't. Right. We certainly have that portion of the population, but they aren't generally the year-round real population there. They are the second homeowners that vacation and spend summers and weekends there. And we welcome them with open arms. Yes. We appreciate the economy and economic development that they bring to us, no doubt about that. But our local population is very much of a blue-collar, middle-class, hardworking, trying to make a living, trying to stay in their homes in this economy, and trying to maintain their jobs. We have areas of town where we have a not insignificant percentage of our constituents that actually live under the poverty line. And so it's about as diverse a population as I think any community in this country represents. And so our problems are, both our problems and what we celebrate is manyfold there, but it's an interesting population.
Yes, and we want to talk about some of the solutions you're pursuing there to deal with the same common problems that everyone has in every town, dealing with these difficult economic times, yet trying to make a better way when we return with our guest, re-elected Southampton Town Supervisor Anna Throne-Holst.
TV 10 and 55 Focus now continues.
Hey, welcome back. I'm Richard Rose here with our guest, Anna Throne-Holst, the Southampton Town Supervisor. And we were talking about your philosophy and your approach and how Southampton, like every place, deals with these same issues of you have to meet budget. Have you met the budget there? Describe the budget situation. How do you have any new contract situations with unions? Are you looking for any sort of concessions there? Have you had any?
Well, we have faced the same budget constraints as every municipality in the country. In the state of New York, as you know, the governor adopted a 2% property tax cap that we now all live under. And what that means is that we have a levy cap then, so whatever our levy was last year, we could only come within a 2% increase of that going into next year's budget. My goal was to present a zero increase budget, as I did last year, in really recognizing the difficulties that our day-to-day taxpayers have in maintaining their budget, their own budgets, their household budgets, paying their taxes, paying their mortgages, taking care of school tuitions, everything that we deal with today as you know, as middle-class, day-to-day citizens. And so we managed to do that. The budget is, in fact, a zero increase to the levy, so we came in well below the governor's property tax cap. But it certainly did not come without some hardship. And we used some tools there. We put out a early retirement incentive, providing a sweetener in the hopes that that eligible employees that are eligible through the New York State retirement system would consider maybe going a little bit earlier than they would have otherwise. And we got about 19 takers out of our non-police districts, and a handful of police officers as well.
You have a new police chief as well, don't you?
We do. We do. He's been with us for about 6 months, and comes with after my own heart, a vision for some change and bringing some new and contemporary practices to the department.
His name is Bill Wilkinson, right?
Wilson.
Wilson, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I'm trying to recall it.
Yeah.
Yes, no, got some publicity, and
Yes.
so then sharing the same view as you as to how to police the town.
Well, I think that the police department had was ripe for some change and some new practices. We're looking at some technology upgrades, some automation, some steady tours, different tour schedules, the shifts that the police department works under. We've worked under a very antiquated system there. And we share a vision for looking at some consolidation and shared services with the other police departments. We have village police departments in the town. So you start to question the economic viability of having you know, several police chiefs within 140 square miles, and several captains and things like that. And I think that we are in a season now, and that's certainly what the governor is talking about, of looking at where we can consolidate, where we can share services, and start to chip away at the tax dollars that our constituents are dealing with.
Southampton also regarded for its environmental approach, trying to be on the cutting edge. And I know you're bringing up what I guess many people support, but it can be controversial too, a ban on plastic bags.
Yes.
Where does that stand right now?
Well, we are going to set a public hearing for our last town board meeting of the year on December 22nd. And when I started as councilwoman, one of my goals was to put a sustainability office and an advisory board together, which I did. They've been just an amazing group of volunteers, and now through a grant we actually have a sustainability office and an energy coordinator that is fully paid for by grant money, so at no cost to the taxpayer. And we've chipped away at some big ticket items, energy codes in our building department, so we have certain standards that new buildings have to be built at for energy efficiency, and no idling policies, things like that. And the new big one is the banning of the reusable or the non-reusable plastic bags. Because they are one of the biggest items to fill our landfills in the country. They are non-degradable, so the ones that go into our landfills will stay there forever, and they take up a significant percentage.
What in its place then?
Well, the reusable bags, the kind that...
They're not made of plastic.
They're not made of plastic,
Right.
but they're also the kind that you take home and you then take them back again when you go back to the grocery store. It's really a habit change more than anything else.
Any cost to the consumer or inconvenience for the retailer?
There is a cost to the consumer in that you have to buy the bag. What I'm going to suggest to the town board is that we start a pilot program, and work with our retailers to actually supply the bags with the retailers, you know, the names of their stores and on the bags, so it's free advertising for them. And there's some great bags. I've disciplined myself to doing this as we started talking about it. Actually, the village went before us and adopted this law some months ago. It just went into effect. And it's a habit-changing thing where you just have to get yourself used to that. You use your bags, you come home, you unload your groceries, and in my case, I have the kind that fold back into themselves. They're about the size of a tennis ball, and I just throw them back in my purse or in my pocket. And I always have them with me. So you stop at the grocery store, you pull out 3 or 4 of them, fill your groceries, go home, and you do our environment a huge service.
And the meanwhile, you're trying to boost the economy, though. It's not just about only protecting the environment. People have to make a living as well. So how do you do that?
Well, that's the balancing act, is making sure that we look out for our environment as we look to grow our economy and create jobs. I think that we live in a region that is very well poised to meet that balance. We are an area that is very big on the building trade and that level of development. We are in service industry is big in our area, and I believe that we can bring manufacturing jobs and service industry jobs that in fact support that. There's so much new technology out there that speaks to the building trade and building sustainably, that speaks to appliances, services that work within the sustainable realm. And if we can start to look at, we have a new county executive that is very much of a progressive thinker in this area, Steve Ballone. And I think that we are looking at new and progressive representation for the area, for Long Island as a whole, and where we've started this conversation. Steve Ballone has been out there talking about zoning, innovation zoning, and other tools for bringing economic development in that area.
And that's something you're doing as well. We're going to take a break right now, but we'll talk about the Planned Development District and also a big event coming to the Sabonic Golf Course in 2013. Yes. It's happening in the town of Southampton. We'll hear more from our guest down at Throne-Holst. Stay right there.
TV 10 and 55 Focus continues.
And welcome back. We're here with our guest down at Throne-Holst, Southampton Town Supervisor. When we left it off, we were talking about what are called PDDs in the town of Southampton. That's a Planned Development District. Yes. What exactly is that? Is that a way to focus development? That's what it sounds like.
Yes, it's a zoning tool that we have in the town, and it's really there to address large-scale development projects and zoning issues, and where it puts it in the realm of the town board to deliberate and decide on any large-scale development proposals that might come to the town, and that where our existing zoning is not sufficient or appropriate for the applications that come before us. But it gives us then, as a town board, the ability to measure those and to look at how they fit into our master plan, our comprehensive plan, and look a little bit out of the box. And we have some, they've been controversial throughout the history of them. We've had some very positive ones. One is the Sabonic Golf Course, which was a very positive one, and where the applicant worked with the town board, and there, it was a residential area that would have yielded about 90 homes, and lots of clearing and a huge impact on our services and our school districts and whatnot. And instead, we find ourselves with a cutting-edge golf course that's beautiful, that is attracting, where we have the women's GPA.
Yeah, we had some video here of the golf club, Sabonic Golf Club. And just a beautiful but difficult course, all the pros tell us. I don't believe anybody's done all that well at it. It's hard even for the very best players. And as you said, they've used solar golf carts there to try to enhance the environmental savings.
Yes. Solar golf carts, they have new technology that captures the wastewater from, obviously they've minimized the use of pesticides, but they have a capturing system for them, so they don't actually, that wastewater doesn't go into
That's important.
Water table. So they've been a terrific addition to the community, and now they're attracting the women's PGA
big event
in 2013.
Because the PGA for women has definitely been a growing event. It's growing in prestige and in following, and it's going to be in 2013, right?
Yes.
So what does that do for the town? Tell us how you're feeling. What do you have to do to prepare for this too?
Well, it's a large project to prepare for. We just had our first big meeting, bringing all the stakeholders to the club a couple weeks ago, and starting to talk about transportation issues, parking issues, hospitality issues. Any number of things. But what it does is it brings people and interest, and really the whole world pays attention to Southampton for the week that they're there. And so for us, it's a great shot in the arm, especially now with the economy being what it is. It will attract people to the area. They will frequent our hotels, our restaurants, our shops, our businesses. So we are reaching out on the town level to our businesses and bringing them together now at the club for a meeting in January to start to talk about how we all work together to to maximize this event for the town. But we're just really excited that they're coming, and like I said, it's a great shot in the arm for the town.
Yeah, well, Southampton is a destination point for so many people, day trippers, all from the tri-state area, and then folks who come from all over the world to go there. So even in this soft economy, how is the tourism business there? Because people don't realize that is one of the big motivators of the Long Island economy is tourism.
It is. It is absolutely the tourism, hospitality, second homeowner, day tripper.
Still holding up for Southampton, or?
It is. It is. It has had a couple of rougher years than we've seen in the past, but still holding strong. And I think we may lose those who would not maybe make the same weekend trips as they did, but on the other hand, we gain those who would otherwise have taken a trip to Paris. Instead,
Sure.
They come out to us for the weekend.
Without a doubt.
So we've held strong, but we are certainly dependent on that for our economic well-being. And this event and others coming on its tail are just an added attraction and boost for us.
And how's the shoreline holding up? Oh man, we had a tough summer, and actually a whole tough year. Even during the winter, there were storms that hit the south shore of Long Island, especially out east in the Hamptons, Southampton. We have video of you picking up tree branches after, I think, Hurricane Irene, Tropical
yes.
Storm Irene, perhaps,
yes.
out there. But
Yeah.
How are they holding up? Was there a lot of damage?
There was some very site-specific damage, but we certainly could have fared much worse than we did. And I think we dodged a fairly major bullet there. I mean, if you just look at the devastation that ended up, north of us and west of us. So we certainly had our share of cleanup and damage, but all in all, I think we fared fairly well. What we concern ourselves with on a bigger picture, and the storms certainly bring that to light, is our clean water and water quality that is always affected by these. But
Well, you're a successful politician, elected official. Some people don't like the word politician. Second term now. You have any greater ambition than being the Southampton Town Supervisor? And I got 30 seconds for you to answer that.
I am very, very happy and content in my job. I'm very motivated by bringing some of these bigger picture projects to the town of Southampton, and continuing to look at new and better practices, and really representing my friends and neighbors in Southampton. And I love my job, and that's what I'm focused on.
Well, again, congratulations on your re-election. Southampton Town Supervisor Anna Throne-Holst, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for being there. I'm Richard Rose. Be sure to join us next week for yet another edition of Focus.